Hello everyone, my name is Pixlriffs and welcome back to the Minecraft Survival... Nope, that's the wrong series. Hello everyone, my name is Pixlriffs and welcome back to the Skyblock Survival Guide. I hope you guys are having a good day. Well, after a long time spent farming Drowned right here at the Drowned farm we built in the last episode, I have managed to gather myself at least 4 stacks of clay blocks, a whole lot of rotten flesh, a handful of nautilus shells, some gold, and finally a trident. So let's take a quick look at the stats and see how much that took. 374 drowned. That was the first trident I've received this entire time, which pretty much stands up to the statistics of this thing, because I think there's only a 1 in 16 chance of a drowned to spawn with a trident, and then it's a less than 10% chance, I think, to actually get it with a looting sword, which makes the odds pretty terrible. But to be honest, this has only taken me about half an hour of work today, just grinding away at the drowned, because this farm has been spawning them pretty frequently. I've been sleeping every so often when it gets to night to make sure that they fall through the farm like normal, and finally we have ourselves a trident. So I'm going to head back to the central area here, and I've been looking at it from down here, and I realize this place really doesn't look very good, and not just because we've got these bridges heading out into the distance for the nearby islands and projects like this, but just because everything around here is kind of like a flat surface with some stuff built on top of it. And so I think today, maybe we're going to spend a bit of time building some custom biomes. First, though, I have a quick job I want to do, and it involves putting mending on this trident, or at the very least, enchanting the trident first, and then getting mending on it after that, because we do have a few mending books left in my kind of impromptu storage system here. I don't think we have much else in the way of decent books for the trident, though, so it is probably worth enchanting it first and seeing what we get. First of all, let me find a spare chest that I can put all this rotten flesh in. There we go. Let's get some space in the inventory there, and break out this block of lapis so that we can get ourselves some decent trident enchantments. There we go, loyalty 3, not bad. Impaling as well, and we can put channeling on that, and that will be the ideal weapon to get ourselves some mob heads, because as people pointed out, the creeper mob head here, which says obtain every head in the game, is in the ocean section because, of course, a trident is kind of a prerequisite. Or it's not, but it's definitely the easiest way of charging creepers and obtaining mob heads. It's what we've been doing in the survival guide series, so I imagine we will go that way as well. To be honest, I have not even seen a thunderstorm in this world, and I'm quite happy about that fact, because with fire spread not switched off, I've left fire spread on in this world, I haven't really touched the game rules at all. Thunderstorms can be a little bit unpredictable, and setting fire to the wrong place in a house can mean the entire house burning down, even when it's raining. So I'm pretty happy that we haven't had to deal with thunderstorms yet, but we will have to for the sake of charging a few creepers. Not to worry though, where is the anvil in this place? I think I probably broke it, didn't I? So let's head back outside, enchant this thing with mending, and then I think there is an advancement for throwing a trident, although it may involve actually hitting something with it in the first place, but let's find out. Well, it certainly came back to me, but yeah, it looks like we do have to actually hit something. I wonder if there's any animals down here that we can throw a trident at just for fun. That chicken will do. Oh no! Yikes. Yeah, we may have just thrown that trident into the void. I really should have thought that through beforehand. Oh well, back to the drowned farm, I guess. That chicken sidestepped at the last second, and oh, I feel terrible now. Yeah, in the next update, a trident, when you throw it into the void, is going to return to you. Unfortunately, though, I just threw that trident away. That was, rookie mistake. Terrible. Terrible. I'm leaving it in the video, though. You guys have to see that. Okay, and after about 150 or so more drowned, I have a trident, which I promised not to throw in the void this time. Let's go and enchant that and have a go at round 2. This chicken looks like fair game. Hopefully we should get similar enchants this time around. No, we just got Unbreaking 3. Oh well, at least I can get the rest of them on book enchantments, and I have a decent amount of levels from grinding at the farm. I'll take another Unbreaking 3 book as well. They're always useful, but for once, it seems like I'm getting all of the books that aren't related to Trident stuff. Projectile protection? No, okay. Looks like I will have to do a little bit more trading with librarians in the near future then, but at the very least I can put mending and unbreaking on this thing, and I should still be able to chuck it at something. Not taking any chances this time. I'm going to leave this chicken over here and then throw a trident at it. There we go. Had to pick up the trident manually as well, because this one doesn't even have loyalty, but we got the advancement there in the end. And spending a little bit of extra time over at the Drowned farm has meant that I've been able to make up a bit of the clay that we had into terracotta by smelting it. And that is actually going to be part of some of the biomes that I'm going to be crafting today, because I want to start with the jungle. Ages ago, I was working on a jungle that was kind of inspired by one in the biome bundle preset for Open Terrain Generator, a kind of modded approach to terrain generation, but I think I really want to make over the jungle biome over there with a little bit of terracotta around that jungle lake. And the biome actually blends itself into the biome around it, so there probably isn't much jungle space to work with. But I reckon we can start with that, grow a couple of trees, and it's the one that has the strongest foundation for turning into a custom-built floating island. So I reckon we will give that a shot today. And I think we'll do a little bit of terracotta dyeing first, just so we can make a little bit more progress towards that other advancement. I'm talking about this one here, to make every color of wool, concrete, and terracotta. Now that we have a few stacks of terracotta in here, we should only need 2 of those in order to turn them all into a reasonable amount of colored terracotta. I think that's how the maths works out. Anyway, now where did I leave all of those dyes? Was it in this chest here? Yeah, it was. Okay, so I can probably make up a few more pieces of terracotta, and I don't know if it needs glazed terracotta as well, but we've got a furnace set up that will allow us to do that anyway. And with all the dyes loaded up into my inventory, I guess we'll just go down the line and make a little bit of everything. So let's start with the very brown shades of terracotta. I think we're probably going to just stick with the natural looking terracotta, I guess, when we end up making the jungle island. But who knows, we could make a few other different color palettes out of this. In fact, the terracotta color palette actually blends pretty well with each other because they've all got that same base color. And in the end, I ended up making twice as much white terracotta as I needed because I had too much white dye in my inventory and I was just clicking away there. But we should be now, yes, there we go, 2/3 of the way to tasting that rainbow. And all we need to do is put together enough sand from the husk farm over there and enough gravel that we've got from zombies, and boy do we have a lot of gravel at this point. I think we could complete that achievement today. But one thing is for sure, my storage system needs an overhaul. For a start, I don't find myself going in here nearly as often as I hoped I would. I haven't really adopted this house as my home or anything. Look at this, I haven't even decorated the living room. It's nonsense, really. So I guess I'll just throw the rest of the terracotta in here for the time being, and we can go and grab that anytime we need it. This terracotta here, though, I think we will probably end up using for that custom jungle biome. And I think we'll grab a few of the stone blocks that we've already got. We definitely need some bamboo for the jungle as well. We could maybe mix in a little bit of other foliage here and there. We've got a pond over there already that I think I'm going to be basing the entire thing around, like a miniature jungle lake, and we'll see what else we can grab as well. Probably a couple of jungle saplings to give it that authentic look. I think this is going to be a fun little project for today, and for that, I think we're going to start that in the form of a time lapse. Welcome back, folks. I hope you enjoyed the time lapse, and I'm really happy with this little island over here. I think it's quite a nice little hunk of land after all, and I'm going to remove this bed that I left over here while I was sleeping during the building of this project. We've removed the chest already, and I want to show you guys around, because this is genuinely something really nice. A nice little snapshot of a biome in this landscape. We've got a couple of bits of terracotta kind of worked into the surrounding terrain, and I like the fact that that blends nicely with the grass path. We've got some bamboo here, of course, and I've actually limited the height of the bamboo by placing string over the top of it. That's a trick you can do with any crop that grows in a block like this, and the same thing goes with cactus, goes with sugarcane, and so forth. If you want to use it aesthetically, you can just place string over the top of it. I think cactus is okay with that, as sometimes it just breaks an additional piece every so often. But yeah, I've done that with most of these. I've left a couple of them to grow up to their natural height, and I think they look super cool. I also really like the fact that we can decorate lakes with so much life now, and we have all of the coral and sea pickles and kelp and seagrass in here that we could possibly want. I might even bring the lily pads around here a little bit so that we have a lily pad out in the center, but I'm still going to use this lake for fishing every now and again, so it's kind of nice to have that available to us. The jungle trees are just grown naturally from jungle saplings, of course, a 2x2 over here and 3-1 sapling trees over here, but I have turned some of those logs from a 4th tree into some roots here that can kind of branch out over and underneath the landscape. The coolest thing, though, is down here, because the island itself is naturally left kind of hollow, and it's now possible to go down inside of here, which I've had to light up a little bit so it doesn't interfere too much with the rates of mob farms in the area, but we actually have a little hollow space down here, which if you wanted to, you could hollow out and use entirely for storage or something like that. You can make it into a second base if you wanted to. Personally, I'm just happy having a little space down here that sort of feels like an ancient jungle ruin of some kind. If we put some stone bricks down there especially, it could look very, very intentional. But the island itself is looking great. Around the outside here, I can take a quick flight with the elytra. We've got the terracotta kind of coming down over the sides here, and we've got some mossy cobblestone and some cobblestone, just providing a little bit of detail to the stone edifices, because I thought it would look kind of boring and ordinary if it was just plain stone around here, so the cobblestone really adds that kind of spike of naturality about it. And the only thing that's really left to decide is exactly how we get over here, because I want to start removing some of these cobblestone pathways that are around here. I can get around by elytra now, but I really think chaining a series of islands together via bridges is going to be a really nice way of getting out here, and is going to make this whole thing feel a little bit more coherent and a little bit more like form matters as well as just function. There we go, the bridge removed in its entirety, and that jungle island over there almost transformed into a kind of better version of what it was when the map started out. But we can still definitely get over there using elytra and fireworks, and I've been crafting up a few more fireworks. I also spent a little bit more time. We did this whole thing on a live stream, and I just recorded it using the replay mod for the time lapse. But I spent a bit more time at the drowned farm and got myself a second trident, or a third trident, I suppose, considering I threw the first one away at the start of this episode. So we now have another Impaling 5, Loyalty 3, Unbreaking and Mending trident, in addition to the Unbreaking and Mending one that I enchanted at the start of this episode. And we're probably even going to get more of them so that we can have one with channeling and one with Riptide. If I can get hold of those out of an enchantment table instead of relying on books to get hold of them, then I definitely want to give that a try. But I think I'm going to spend the last part of this episode grabbing a few more resources and putting together the last stuff that we need to get hold of that single advancement down here, the Taste the Rainbow advancement, because now we should have all of the supplies we need to make every single color of concrete as well, and it remains to be seen if that means hardened concrete as opposed to concrete powder, but we may as well give it a try. One other thing I should note is that I have had to produce a considerable amount of dirt just to get that dirt platform to start the jungle island off, to kind of expand the boundary of the jungle island, and I've been doing that using poppies from the iron farm. Obviously we can't automate the production of dirt because the composter actually relies on player inputs to produce dirt instead of just bone meal. You can see here that the automatic version we had, I just pulled the composter out of that, and I've just been composting the poppies in here. I've also been doing that with a few other crops here and there. Cookies are actually surprisingly good as compost material, because the crafting recipe makes 10 of them at a time, and they're all pretty much guaranteed to fill up a layer of the composter. But poppies, we are now composting in large quantities, and the iron farm is going to constantly produce those in the background. So I have about a stack and a half, just over a stack and a half of dirt left, and I think the next island that I want to expand upon is going to be the mushroom island out there, because we haven't touched that nearly at all throughout this entire thing. And while the boundary of the mycelium can spread as far as it wants to, the boundary of the mushroom island is something I'm interested in, because mushroom islands, of course, are not spawnable by mobs, so we could potentially do some fun stuff over there. Maybe create a mushroom farm to produce high-quality steak for us for the foreseeable future. We will see. But like I said, now we're going to be able to open this up, and I think with a stack of sand and a stack of gravel, we should be able to produce every single color of concrete, because the output amount of concrete powder only uses 4 sand and 4 gravel each time. So there we go, we'll get it kicked off with the red, and let's see if that... No, okay, that hasn't increased the counter, so we will need to harden up all of these pieces of concrete afterwards. No worries, though. I guess we'll just go down the line once again and convert all of this stuff into concrete powder. And with all these different colors crafted, I think what we're going to do is set them all up inside of here. Just turn one of each color into the full concrete, and then we'll get the pick back on the bar and take all of them. And hopefully this should start to move those numbers along. Yep, there we go. It looks like we'll have to take a couple of them out of the chest here as well. And I'm losing inventory space for them, of course. So let's pop those in there and swap them each time for the ones that we are crafting here using the water. Here we go, folks, the moment of truth. We should have every single color of all of those materials once we've collected up all of these, and that looks like everything except the light gray. There it is! Hey, we have tasted the rainbow, folks, and I think it's probably time to expand the little monument that I put over here with all of the different colors of wool. I think we're going to add the concrete over the top of the nether portal, and we'll put the terracotta on the opposite side as well, and make a kind of triptych, I guess, the 3 different frames with all 3 different types of materials. And there we go. Not exactly the conventional rainbow, but it's our rainbow. All 16 colors of every colored material dealt with. It's in there, it's in the frames, and that's a pretty significant milestone in any Skyblock world, I have to say. So I'm really, really happy that we can end the episode on that note. But that is where we are going to leave it for today, folks. I hope you've enjoyed this little look at the Skyblock world's progress. Leave a like on it if you enjoyed the episode. Subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you guys soon. Take care. Bye for now.